Did you know that over 60% of men above the age of 50 continue to masturbate regularly? But here's the real question. Is it helping your body, or could it actually be harming your long-term health? Today, we're going to dig into the science, the benefits, and the potential risks you need to know about, especially if you're over 50. Welcome back, gentlemen. If you're new here, this channel is all about men's health, fitness, and survival, helping men of all ages live stronger, healthier, and more resilient lives. Today's topic is one that's often whispered about, rarely discussed openly, but deeply important for men as we age: masturbation after 50. We'll cover the benefits are backed by science, the potential risks that often go ignored. And before we wrap up, I'll give you a bonus tip, something most men never consider, but it can completely change how you look at this private habit. But before we start, I want to know from you. Comment below with your age and country. Whether you're in the US, the UK, Canada, or Australia, let's see how men across the world are experiencing this part of life. And if you want more straightforward videos on men's health, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we dive into topics most men are too shy to ask about but desperately need answers for. Now, first things first, let's be honest. Masturbation has been surrounded by myths for centuries. From old religious warnings to locker room jokes, men have been told all kinds of confusing messages. But science, not stigma, should guide us. According to Dr. David L. Rowland, professor emeritus of psychology at Valparaiso University, masturbation is one of the most common and natural sexual behaviors for men, and it continues well into older age. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine in 2020 found that a large majority of men over 50 report that masturbation plays a role in maintaining their sexual and emotional health. So, if you're still doing it at 50, 60, or even 70, you're not weird. You're not broken. You're actually very normal. The benefits you shouldn't ignore. Now let's break down some of the health benefits that researchers have linked to masturbation for older men. Number 1, prostate health. One of the strongest arguments in favor comes from prostate research. A 2016 Harvard study in European Urology found that men who ejaculated more frequently, about 21 times a month, had a 20% lower risk of prostate cancer compared to men who did so less often. That doesn't mean you need to count every single time, but it does suggest that regular release may help keep the prostate healthy by flushing out old fluids and lowering inflammation. Number 2, stress and sleep. Ever notice how you feel more relaxed afterward? That's not in your head. Ejaculation releases dopamine and oxytocin, two feel-good chemicals that calm your nervous system. The Mayo Clinic has reported that this chemical release can promote better sleep, reduce stress, and even lower blood pressure in some men. Number 3, erectile function. Here's something surprising. Regular sexual activity, including masturbation, may actually help preserve erectile function as you age. In a long-term study from the American Journal of Medicine, men who maintained regular sexual activity into their 50s and 60s were significantly less likely to develop erectile dysfunction compared to those who became sexually inactive. Think of it like exercise for your sexual system. If you don't use it, you may lose it. Number 4, mental health and mood. Loneliness and depression are common after 50, especially if men are divorced, widowed, or living alone. Masturbation, though private, can boost serotonin and dopamine, which helps protect mental health. Some therapists even recommend it as part of maintaining emotional well-being in older age. But here's where it gets interesting. While there are benefits, the question remains, can there also be risks? The answer is yes, and that's what we're going to unpack next. Because while masturbation can be healthy, overdoing it, using it as a coping mechanism, or relying too heavily on it can create some serious issues, especially for men after 50. And before we dive into the risks, I want to ask you this. Do you believe masturbation has helped your health or harmed it after 50? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them. The potential risks. Now that we've seen the benefits, let's turn the coin over, because yes, while masturbation is generally safe, too much of anything can tip the balance. Number 1, overuse and physical irritation. Let's start with the obvious. If you're masturbating too frequently, especially without lubrication, you may notice soreness, swelling, or even minor skin irritation. This is usually temporary, but in men over 50, skin tends to be thinner and healing takes longer. Dermatologists at the British Journal of Dermatology note that friction injuries become more common with age. Number two, energy drain and fatigue. Some men report feeling drained, sluggish, or even guilty afterward. Now, occasional release won't sap your energy, but overdoing it can. Researchers in the archives of sexual behavior found that men who relied excessively on masturbation reported higher levels of fatigue and, in some cases, decreased motivation for physical exercise. Number three, prostate inflammation. While moderate ejaculation supports prostate health, there's also evidence that overuse, especially if tied to pornography, may cause chronic pelvic tension or prostatitis like symptoms. Urologist Dr. Aaron Spitz, author of the Penis Book, has explained that overstimulation can sometimes aggravate the prostate rather than protect it. Number four, psychological dependence. This is a big one. As men get older, relationships, intimacy, and social bonds become even more important. But if masturbation turns into the only sexual outlet, it can reduce motivation to connect with a partner. Psychologists call this sexual isolation. A 2019 study in Frontiers in Psychology linked high-frequency pornography-driven masturbation with lower satisfaction in relationships and even reduced interest in real-life intimacy. For single men, this can also feed loneliness rather than solve it. Number five, erectile desensitization. Another potential risk is what doctors call death grip syndrome. If a man gets used to a very specific pressure or speed during solo play, he may find it harder to get aroused or climax with a partner. According to Dr. Ian Kerner, sex therapist and author of She Comes First, this is one of the most common complaints he hears from older male patients. Balance is key. So what's the takeaway? Masturbation is not the enemy. The real risk lies in excess, secrecy, or neglecting other aspects of health and intimacy. Here's a simple way to think about it. If it helps you relax, sleep, and stay healthy, great. If it's draining your energy, making you sore, or replacing real intimacy, then it's time to adjust. Like fitness or nutrition, balance is everything. Let me share a quick story. A 58-year-old man named Richard from Manchester told his therapist that after his divorce, masturbation became his main stress reliever. At first, it helped, but over time, he noticed he was skipping gym sessions, avoiding dating, and even feeling more isolated. His doctor advised him to scale back, join a men's fitness group, and focus on building new social connections. Within 6 months, he reported higher energy, better confidence, and even a new relationship. It reminds me of this quote from Aristotle: "The more you use it, the more you have it." That applies to energy, discipline, and relationships. The goal isn't to eliminate masturbation, but to keep it in harmony with the rest of your life. And before we wrap up with the conclusion, remember, I promised you a bonus tip. Something that most men over 50 never think about, but it can dramatically change your health and confidence when it comes to solo sex. We'll get into that right before the conclusion. Bonus tip. Here's the bonus I promised you, something most men over 50 never think about when it comes to masturbation. Kegel exercises for men. Yes, you heard that right. Kegels aren't just for women. In fact, studies published in the British Journal of Urology International show that pelvic floor exercises can dramatically improve erectile strength, bladder control, and even orgasm intensity in older men. Here's how you do it. Identify the muscles you use to stop your urine midstream. Squeeze and hold them for about 5 seconds, then relax for 5 seconds. Repeat 10 to 15 times once or twice a day. The beauty is you can do these exercises anywhere, sitting at your desk, driving, even while watching TV. Over time, it strengthens the same muscles you use during masturbation and sex, making both more enjoyable and healthier. So the bonus tip here is simple. Combine moderate masturbation with pelvic floor strengthening. That way, you're not just maintaining sexual health, you're actively upgrading it. Conclusion. So let's bring it all together. Masturbating after 50 is not something to be ashamed of. In fact, it can support prostate health, reduce stress, and even help maintain erectile function. But, like all things in life, it comes with balance. Too much, and it can cause fatigue, reduce intimacy, or even desensitize your sexual response. Here's the takeaway: treat masturbation like exercise. Do it enough to stay healthy, but don't let it replace real connections, physical activity, or other sources of fulfillment in your life. Now I want to hear from you. How old are you, and which country are you watching from? Do you feel masturbation has improved or harmed your health after 50? Drop your answers in the comments. I'll be checking them and responding to as many as I can. And if you found this video valuable, make sure to hit the like button, share it with a friend who might need it, and of course, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss future videos on men's health, fitness, and survival. It really encourages us and also signals to YouTube that our content is valuable. We create videos like this to help you live a healthier life. A lot of research went into making this video to ensure you get accurate and beneficial information. While we couldn't include every detail in the video, all the research sources are linked in the description below for those who want to explore further story. Because remember, your health is your true wealth. I'll leave you with this powerful reminder from the philosopher Seneca. We should call ourselves to account every day. What infirmity have I mastered today? What passion opposed? What temptation resisted? What virtue acquired? Take that same accountability into your health, and you'll live not just longer, but stronger.